Tofa ya Ali Madad. In the deserts of Karbala, where swords were raised and innocent hearts were broken, one woman stood like a mountain. Her name was Bibi Zainab, S.A., the daughter of Imam Ali, A.S., the granddaughter of Prophet Muhammad, Pbuh, and the sister of Imam Hussain, A.S. This is not just a story. This is the story of courage, sacrifice, and patience beyond imagination. Bibi Zainab, S.A., was born in the holy city of Medina. She grew up in the house of Ahlulbayt, a home filled with love, knowledge, and nur. Whenever the holy Prophet Muhammad, Pbuh, held little Zainab in his arms, tears would appear in his eyes. The companions asked, "Ya Rasul Allah, why do you cry while holding your granddaughter?" The Prophet replied with sadness, "This daughter of mine will witness the tragedy of Karbala." Even as a child, Zainab, S.A., was different. Wise, patient, brave, she learned courage from her father Imam Ali, A.S., and patience from her mother Bibi Fatima Zahra, S.A. One of the biggest heartbreaks of her childhood came when her beloved mother, Bibi Fatima Zahra, S.A., left this world. Young Zainab would quietly cry in the corners of the house. The home of Ahlulbayt became silent. But even in pain, she stayed strong for her brothers, Imam Hassan, A.S., and Imam Hussain, A.S. She comforted broken hearts while hiding her own tears. Years later, Yazid became ruler. He demanded allegiance from Imam Hussain, A.S. But Imam Hussain refused, because truth can never bow before evil. When Imam Hussain prepared to leave Medina, Bibi Zainab said, "Brother, wherever you go, I will go too." She knew danger was waiting ahead. She knew pain was coming. But she never left her Imam alone. The caravan crossed burning deserts until they finally reached the land of Karbala. The night was dark and silent. Children cried from thirst. Mothers looked helpless. The enemies surrounded the camp from every side. On the night before Ashura, Imam Hussain, A.S., gathered everyone and said, "Tomorrow is our last day in this world." The companions began to cry. But Bibi Zainab remained patient. Like the daughter of Ali, she spent the whole night comforting the women and children, preparing herself for the biggest tragedy in Islamic history. The sun rose over Karbala. One by one, the companions of Imam Hussain entered the battlefield and embraced Shahadat. Then came the sons of Ahlulbayt. Bibi Zainab watched every heartbreaking moment. She saw young Ali Akbar, A.S., fall to the ground. She heard the cries of thirsty children. And then came the moment that shook the heavens. Imam Hussain, A.S., rode toward the battlefield for the final time. Bibi Zainab stood outside the tent, watching her brother disappear into the dust. Moments later, a voice echoed across Karbala, "Hussain has been martyred." The skies cried, the earth trembled, and the heart of Zainab shattered. But she still stayed strong. After the martyrdom of Imam Hussain, enemy soldiers attacked the tents. Fire spread everywhere. Children ran in fear crying, "Al-Atash! Al-Atash! We are thirsty." Little girls searched for their fathers. Smoke covered the desert. In the middle of that nightmare, Bibi Zainab became the protector of the children. She gathered everyone together and cared for Imam Zain al-Abidin, A.S., who was very sick. The family of the Prophet was taken as prisoners to Damascus. People stared at them in the streets. Yazid sat proudly in his palace thinking he had won. But then, Bibi Zainab stood up, fearless, powerful, like the true daughter of Imam Ali, A.S. She gave a speech that shook the palace. She said, "You think you defeated us? By Allah, the message of Karbala will live forever." The entire court became silent. Even Yazid had no answer. If Imam Hussain, A.S., gave Islam life with his sacrifice, then Bibi Zainab, S.A., protected it with her courage. She became the voice of Karbala, the symbol of patience, and the hero of every broken heart. Emotional ending. Today, millions around the world still cry for Karbala. And whenever the name of Hussain is remembered, the name of Zainab shines beside it. Because she taught humanity, real strength is standing for truth, even after losing everything. Salam upon Zainab, S.A. Salam upon the daughter of Ali. Salam upon the pride of Karbala. Part 2. The tragedy of Karbala had ended. But the pain of Ahlulbayt was only beginning. The battlefield was covered with bodies. The tents were burning. Children were crying in fear. And in the middle of smoke and darkness stood one brave woman. Bibi Zainab, S.A. She had lost her brothers, nephews, family, and loved ones. But she still stood strong. Because now she carried the mission of Karbala on her shoulders. The night after Ashura was one of the saddest nights in history. The enemies looted the tents of Ahlulbayt. Little children cried for water. Mothers searched for their children in the darkness. The desert of Karbala echoed with screams and pain. Bibi Zainab moved from one tent to another, comforting frightened children. She carried crying little girls in her arms. She wiped their tears while hiding her own pain. Everywhere she looked, she saw tragedy. The bodies of martyrs lay under the open sky. And among them was her beloved brother, Imam Hussain, A.S. Late at night, Bibi Zainab walked toward the body of Imam Hussain. The battlefield was silent. The moonlight fell upon the broken body of the grandson of the Prophet. Zainab fell near her brother and cried, "Ya Hussain, after you, who will protect these children?" Her heart was shattered, but even in that pain, she stayed patient. Because she knew her brother gave his life to save Islam. The next morning, the family of the Prophet was tied in chains. The enemies forced them to travel from Karbala to Kufa. Children walked barefoot on the hot desert sand. The people watched silently. Some cried after realizing these were the family members of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. But the rulers tried to spread lies against Ahlulbayt. Even then, Bibi Zainab stood with dignity. Her clothes were torn, her heart was broken, but her courage remained unshaken. When the caravan reached Kufa, crowds gathered everywhere. People looked at the prisoners with confusion. Then suddenly, Bibi Zainab stood up and began speaking. Her voice sounded exactly like her father, Imam Ali, A.S. The entire city became silent. She said, "O people of Kufa, you invited Hussein, then you betrayed him." People began crying loudly. Many realized their mistake too late. The speech of Zainab shook the hearts of thousands. During the journey, little children kept asking, "Where is my father? Where is my uncle? Where is Imam Hussain?" Every question broke Zainab's heart. Little Sakina bint Hussain, S.A., cried every night for her father. Sometimes she would wake up terrified and ask, "Did Baba Hussain come back?" Bibi Zainab hugged her tightly and cried silently. The suffering of the children became one of the most painful parts of Karbala. The prisoners were then taken toward Damascus. The journey was long and painful. The enemies treated the family of the Prophet harshly. Crowds gathered in streets to watch the prisoners pass by. But Bibi Zainab never allowed the message of Karbala to die. Wherever she went, she told people the truth. She exposed the of Yazid. And slowly, people started realizing who these prisoners really were. Finally, the caravan arrived in the palace of Yazid in Damascus. Yazid sat proudly on his throne. He believed he had defeated Imam Hussain forever. The heads of martyrs were placed in front of him. The atmosphere was heartbreaking. Then Yazid looked at Bibi Zainab and mocked her. But instead of fear, Zainab stood with strength, like the true daughter of Ali. She gave one of the most powerful speeches in Islamic history. She said, "You may think today is your victory, but by Allah, you can never erase our truth." The entire court became silent. People were shocked by her courage. Even Yazid became speechless. That day, the world realized something important. Karbala was not a defeat. It was the victory of truth over falsehood. And the one who carried this message to the world was Bibi Zainab, S.A. Without her bravery, the truth of Karbala may have been hidden forever. Today, after hundreds of years, people still remember the tears of Zainab, the patience of Zainab, the courage of Zainab. Whenever the name of Imam Hussain, A.S. is mentioned, the name of Zainab shines beside him, because she proved that even in the darkest moments, a believer can still stand for truth. Ya Zainab, S.A., Ya Hussain, A.S. Part 3. The painful journey of the family of Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, had shaken the world. From Karbala to Kufa, and from Kufa to Damascus, the family of Ahlulbayt suffered pain no words can fully describe. But after the powerful speeches of Bibi Zainab, S.A., and Imam Zain al-Abidin, A.S., people slowly started turning against Yazid. The truth of Karbala was spreading everywhere, and Yazid became afraid. Yazid realized something important. He had won the battle with swords, but he was losing the war of truth. Everywhere in Damascus, people began talking about against the family of the Prophet. Many who once celebrated now cried in regret. The speeches of Zainab had shaken the palace itself. Yazid feared rebellion, so he decided to release the prisoners of Karbala. But the pain they carried could never be removed. Before leaving Sham, another tragedy happened. Little Sakina bint Hussain, S.A., was crying for her father every night. One night she woke up crying loudly, "Where is my Baba Hussain?" The prisoners also started crying. The guards informed Yazid. To silence the crying child, they brought the blessed head of Imam Hussain, a.s. When little Sakina saw it, she hugged it tightly and cried, "Baba, who hurt you like this?" The entire prison cried hearing her voice. According to many narrations, little Sakina, S.A., passed away in the prison of Sham due to grief and suffering. Bibi Zainab held the lifeless body of the little orphan in her arms. Another heartbreak entered her wounded heart. After leaving Damascus, the caravan started its journey back. But before returning to Medina, Bibi Zainab requested one thing. She wanted to visit Karbala once again. The caravan reached Karbala after many painful months. The desert was silent, but the memories of Ashura were alive in every grain of sand. When Bibi Zainab saw the grave of Imam Hussain, a.s., she fell to the ground crying. The women and children also began crying loudly. The painful memories returned once again. The thirst, the fire, the martyrs, the lonely tents, everything came back into their hearts. Bibi Zainab cried near the grave of her brother and said, "Ya Hussain, we have returned to you." Even the desert of Karbala seemed to cry with her. The return to Medina. Finally, the caravan returned to Medina. But this was not the same Medina they had left. When they left, Imam Hussain was with them. Now they returned without him. The city became silent with grief. People came out crying as they saw the family of the Prophet return in pain. Bibi Zainab entered Medina carrying the sorrow of Karbala in her heart forever. Every street reminded her of Imam Hussain. Every corner reminded her of the family she lost. Even after Karbala, even after prison, even after losing everything, Bibi Zainab never stopped spreading the message of Imam Hussain. She told people what happened in Karbala. She exposed the cruelty of Yazid. And because of her courage, the sacrifice of Imam Hussain reached every generation. Today, millions know about Karbala because Zainab protected its message. The world remembers Bibi Zainab, S.A., because she showed humanity the meaning of true patience. She lost her brothers. She lost her nephews. She saw thirsty children suffer. She walked in chains, but she never bowed before evil. Her strength became an example for all generations. Today, whenever Muharram arrives, tears return to the eyes of believers. The name of Imam Hussain, A.S., echoes across the world. And beside his name, shines the name of Zainab. Because after Karbala, it was Zainab who became the voice of truth. Salam upon Zainab, S.A. Salam upon the daughter of Ali. Salam upon the pride of Karbala. Salam upon the protector of the orphan children. Ya Zainab, Ya Hussain.